If there's anyone that would like to speak tonight, we do have a sign-in sheet, and we also have extra agendas right here on the desk. So if you would just please sign in.
We're getting microphones, you're not mentioning.
Yes, we are doing microphones. So, they just will not do it yet. Just wait until it's done. Good evening. There being a quorum present, this regular session of the Howe City Council is hereby called to order on Tuesday, July 18, 2023 at 6 p.m. under the Open Meetings Act of the State of Texas. Before we begin, please remove your caps and silence your cell phones. Let's stand for the invocation of the pledges.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day, for all that you've done for us and bless us with. Lord, we pray as these proceedings continue that you give us wisdom, give us strength, and you give us knowledge and abilities to know what to do and to know what to do for the city of Howe. Lord, I thank you that we live in the United States, we live in Texas, and that we live in Howe. Forgive us, Lord, when we fail you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Now for the pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one
this time, all comments will be taken from the audience on any subject, whether the item is on the agenda. All comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, council may not discuss or act on any item not posted on the agenda. I will call on individuals who have signed in on the sign-in sheet. If for some reason someone did not get a chance to sign in, you're welcome to do so right now. When called upon, please state your name, physical address before presenting your comments. Is there anyone that needs to sign in? Okay. The first person on our list is Kenneth. And Kenneth, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but is it Savoda? Yes, sir, please.
My name is Kenneth Swoboda. I live at 410 North Hugh Street here in Howe, Texas. And today I'm here to voice my concern regarding a complaint that I formally submitted a few weeks back. So on March 13th, the City of Howe Public Works installed an improvement on my property regarding water lines and drainage. This improvement was intended to flush out water lines in order to fix the problem that some people were experiencing with brown water, more specifically the 3 houses south of my house. While I'm sympathetic towards people who are receiving unclean water, the improvement that was made has damaged my property. The machines that were used to install said improvement have caused massive damage to my landscaping, and the improvement itself has caused countless gallons of water to flood my backyard, destroy my grass, and kill my landscaping. This improvement, like I said, was made on March 13th. I've attempted to contact the City of Howe multiple times in order to get some sort of resolution working as far as the damage done to my property, and to this day, I still have a damaged property. For reference, I contacted the city manager as well as the director of public works via email and phone multiple times prior to trying to submit a formal complaint. The week prior to June 3rd, I attempted to go in person to get some sort of resolution made at City Hall. Nothing was done. I was told to continue to wait. June 3rd was the date of my wife's baby shower, and as a result of the damage that was done to my property, I could not hold my wife's own baby shower on my property. I had to rent out this very venue that we are standing in today. So I did pay an undue price in order to host a baby shower for my own wife because of the damage that was done. On June 27th, I submitted a formal complaint letter, and I notified the City of Howe that I've done everything I can in order to voice my concerns and try to get the city to perform corrective action, and nothing has been done. It is currently July 18th, over 3 months since the original damage was done to my property, and as I've said, it still remains damaged to this day. The city has done nothing to correct any of the damage done. As every time that I try to contact anyone at the city, I am told to continue to wait for a work order, to continue to wait even longer. 3 months is more than long enough.
Mr. Tidwell, I know we can't comment on it, but can the city administrator or public works department, are they allowed to? Can we tell them?
They could, but if it's a disputed claim, we normally would not discuss those in a public setting. Typically respond privately.
Okay, I was not aware that it was a disputed claim.
Well, I think you just said that he's submitted a formal claim.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Next, we're going to hear from Laurel Troxler.
My name is Laurel Troxler. I live at 842 Smith Road. I want to bring an issue for y'all to put on the agenda for Road. I encourage you to come and ride down Smith Road. Since we had the last rain, the bridge down there, they took one layer off of the topping, and I am worried. The bus goes across there at least twice a day, you know. So I'm worried we're gonna get into the water, you know. I'm worried about the structure of the bridge, and if it rains again, we don't have roads through there. I know y'all can't answer, but I do implore y'all to put this on the agenda so we can discuss what we're gonna do. And maybe come up with some other access for the new housing addition other than James Road and Summit Hill. And if they choose not to come up Summit Hill, they'll go out to the back, and that's Smith Road.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next up is Michael Belden.
I'll set my clock and try to not go over 3 minutes, shorter than I normally talk. I can boil it down. I just wanted to respond to some of the comments made at the last meeting by another lawyer regarding whistleblower status and lawsuits. I think that guy was here to intimidate the board from doing its job, to intimidate the city council from doing its job. I know when we signed up for city office and I was on Dorchester County Council, we signed up to do the routine more than anything, but doing an investigation in these matters, as everybody's brought up, the interrogation of Mayor McDonald and some other city matters is very important. It's very important for this board to fully investigate. Everybody is entitled to due process. Every officer is entitled to due process, a fair investigation, a fair finding of facts, and a fair, if facts are found wrong, people are punished on the scale from 0 to 10. That's the way our justice system works, and when you're sitting as a city council, you have the full investigatory powers of anyone else in the city government. As far as whistleblower, I'm the one who first reported the incident regarding Mayor McDonald to the Texas Rangers. I did that in my knowledge, I did that on June 8th. There is no active investigation of Ms. McDonald. I called the DA's office, I called the Rangers. I don't believe anyone involved, from everybody's knowledge of all the actors involved, I don't believe anybody's under criminal investigation. It sounds like this is an internal city matter. It sounds like the underlying facts of the case are internal city matter. To my knowledge, a document was viewed that was accessible to anyone with the city of Howe email. And whether it should have been viewable is an internal city matter. None of the facts, there's no crime for accessing confidential documents. That's not a crime. I can't think of any other crime that could be alleged. And if people are going to be whistleblowers, I would like to know what actual crime is being alleged, because I'm board certified in criminal law, and I'm not aware of any from the fact pattern that I know of. But the good thing is we have a video. That video belongs to the city. The public information in the video belongs to the city, and this council is the governing body that has final power, in my opinion, over whether that video is released. And you would also have the ability, if you do an investigation, to view that video. So I would just beg you all to look at it and look at the other matters that were brought up. Nobody likes these disputes in small towns when we're all friends and neighbors and do business together, but it's part of the job, and I thank you for doing your job.
Thanks, sir. We will now enter into our current business. Going into item number 1, we're going to discuss, consider, and act upon the consent agenda. The minutes for the June 2023 meeting and the finance statements for June 2023. Does the council want to discuss this item? Do we have a motion to approve the minutes and finance statements?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Joe.
I'll second.
Ronnie. All in favor? Okay, everyone? Item number 2, discuss, consider, and act upon the appointment of Dana Nixon, Clay Wilson, Jean Finney, and Kevin Crossan as board members for the Howe Community Facilities Development Corporation, Type B Economic Development. And I need to please note that Mrs. Finney's last name was spelled wrong. It's Finney, and I do apologize for that. Do we need to discuss this item? Does the council need to discuss?
How are the names chosen for the appointments?
Monty, do you want to speak on that?
I chose the names as some people that I thought we could work well with.
I know at the last council meeting, we talked about, within the bylaws of the type B, there's certain things that need to be, where these people vetted to make sure they're within the city limits and that everything follows.
Yes, all 4 members live within the city limits. They're in incorporated city now.
Any other questions from the council? All right. Do we have a motion to approve the appointment of Dana Nixon, Clay Wilson, Jeannie Finney, and Kevin Crossan as board members?
Should we vote one at a time, or can we vote all 4 together?
They can do it all together.
Works for me.
Okay. So Rodney, okay, Rodney makes a motion. Does anyone want to make a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Billy. All in favor? Thank you. All opposed? None. On to item number 3, discuss, consider, and act upon calling for bids for repair work on the baseball fields located in Centennial Park. And again, we have to make a correction. It's supposed to be Bicentennial Park. Does council want to discuss this item?
You have any idea how much we're looking at? Where it's gonna be funded from? You gotta have some guesstimate.
Bill, do you want to speak on that since?
So adding this to the agenda was my idea. Baseball just wrapped up. I know the time process involved that it takes to get those fields ready and suitable for play for those boys. I also know the time involved for sending out bids and having contractors come submit the bids and then going through that process, and it takes quite a bit of work. Baseball is going to start. They start gearing up towards the end of February, 1st of March. I would like to have those fields ready to go for those kids. As far as general cost, I have no clue as to what it's going to cost to repair those fields. I don't know that an in-depth look has been taken to see what all is damaged. I know the light pole on Ashfield, which is the middle field, used to be inside the fence, or is inside the fence, and we have talked for years about moving it to the outside. It's just safer for the kids for that to be outside the fence. You can run into it if you're chasing a foul ball. So that would open up an opportunity for us to make that field safer. And then the outfield fence at Northfield in right field was collapsed because another light pole fell on it. I don't know how extensive the damage is. I don't know that a good guesstimate of how much it's going to cost could be given.
I think, are you asking to be able to get bids so we can find out?
Yes. Yes, we need to get that process started so we can figure out how much it is going to cost.
Well, I don't have any objections to it at all, but something needs to be taken into account. City managers, some of that property that ball field on does not belong to the city. We need to check, make sure that city funds can be used to do work on something that doesn't belong to the city. So I'm not against it, but we need to clarify that before we go out and take the bids on it.
I think that's a good point.
I got also, I know the baseball board used to would kind of volunteer the work to fix some of this stuff. Is that an option or a possibility? I don't know
commissioner, I don't know what the baseball board's accounts look like to just know if they would be in a position to help. And that's definitely a conversation that can be had.
Well, I make a motion to go ahead and approve going out for, bids for repair work once, what all the repairs need to be done is figured out.
I second that.
Okay. All in favor? Everyone, anyone opposed? None opposed? Public hearing. The Howe City Council will have a public hearing to consider ordinance 805. Ordinance 805 is ordinance establishing and implementing a program to charge mitigation rates for the deployment of emergency and non-emergency services by the fire department for services provided and rendered for the City of Howe Fire Department. So it brings us to item number 4, discuss, consider, and act.
We need to have a public hearing first before we
Okay.
have that action.
All right.
Does anybody in the public wish to speak for or against this item?
Okay. Does anyone want to speak from the public regarding this ordinance?
Oh, we got a hand in the back.
Oh, yes, sir.
What does this item entail?
It's not being tabled, it's a new ordinance. Would you like to speak, Chief?
Basically, what this ordinance will do is this will allow the fire department to bill insurance only. No individual will be billed for this for any kind of car wrecks, hazardous material cleanup, structure fires, grass fires. It doesn't cost anybody anything. It doesn't cost the city anything. Basically, we fill out the report, we send it in. If they're able to collect some money from the insurance, they'll take their cut, and then they'll send us money to try to recoup to keep the fire department running smooth. And this will never bill the individual to themselves. This is not a bill. This is, some insurance companies have this built into their policies. If we get it, great. If we don't, it's no harm, no foul with this.
Yes, does that also include like facility to facility transfers?
So this is only fire department.
Okay.
This is not EMS. This is just for the fire department, for fire engines, ladder trucks, brush trucks, anything like that. Like I said, this is at no cost to anybody.
So Chief,
Yes, ma'am.
in section 2 of the ordinance, it says, a claim shall be filed to the responsible party through their insurance carrier. In some circumstances, the responsible parties will be billed directly.
So that will be between the billing company and the insurance company. That's not person to person with this.
But I think I needed to explain a little bit simpler, because it sounds to me like you're saying, we'll bill the insurance or we'll bill the person.
So what this is going to do, this is going to, and I'm not sure if there's, some lost translation. So we'll fill out our fire report like we do now, and we send it into Grayson County, we send it into Texas and then first. What this will do is that we send it to this third-party biller. They will contact the insurance companies. If there is no insurance, it's just another fire report. There's no, if we deem it as a public assist, a lift assist, none of that stuff gets billed. It is only major issues with this. Any kind of car wrecks. So if we have an 18-wheeler wreck on the highway, we get the insurance company, we assist PD with this, we're cleaning up hazmat, we're moving cars, we're sitting out there for 6, 8, 10 hours. Basically, we can bill that insurance company through this third-party company. And then the third party, if they pay $50, they can pay $100, they can pay $10,000, we don't know. It never goes to the driver, it never goes to the owner, it goes to the insurance company of that vehicle, her car wreck, house fire. It never goes to the individual, it goes to the insurance company only.
So what the billing company can bill for is governed by this ordinance?
It's governed by the ordinance with that, so it never goes in the paperwork, it never goes to the individual. So the second party would be, if you might have two different insurance companies, things like that. It never goes, your house catches on fire, we don't send you a bill because of that. That's not what this has, and it's underlined in that statement from the bill.
So, Mr. Tidwell, to me, it sounds like the wording of this section makes it sound like there's a loophole that allows people to be billed directly by the billing company.
So I have not reviewed that ordinance. These are very common ordinances. A number of cities in this area have it. What that may be in there for is for example, if you're in a car wreck and you're at fault, the other driver can't sue your insurance. They have to sue you to get to your insurance. And so my understanding is that at least some of the companies will send a bill to the individual and to the insurance company because it triggers the coverage by serving it on the individual. I don't know how this particular company works, but from what you read, that sounds like that might be the case. And basically, if there is no insurance, then they don't collect, if you will, against the individual.
If we end up in a situation, knock on wood, we never do, like we have with our ambulances, where we're having to contract with someone else to provide the service temporarily, does this ordinance open the door for somebody else to bill someone directly in a way that we didn't intend if we're using it for?
Right now, the way the ordinance is written is the city of Howe and the city of Howe Fire Department. And that's it.
Sir, you had a question in the back?
Are the members that live inside the city limits, are they going to be exempt from this, or are they going to be subject to this also?
As of right now, the way it's written is anybody that's in this goes for its members, its dead.
Just, okay, so for clarification, it's anyone who uses the services.
Yes.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes.
If I have a house fire, you will bill my home insurance?
We send out the insurance report, we send out our fire report to this third party company. They contact your homeowner's insurance. If they decide they want to pay and give a little bit back, then they do. If not, it's no harm, no foul. We still run the way we do. We don't bill you if we don't collect. That's not how this works. We still run the same way we've been running since 1951.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question about the fee schedule for this third party agency, because if there's not anything collected from the insurance, they've still done work, so what are they gonna be paid?
They only get paid if they collect. So.
Does anyone else from the public have a question? Do I see a hand? Council, does anyone else have a question? So that brings us to the item number 4, discuss.
You ended the public hearing, correct?
I'm sorry?
You ended the public hearing?
I'm sorry, yes, we'll end the public hearing.
Now you can move on.
All right, thank you. So we're moving on to item number 4, discuss, consider, and act upon ordinance number 805, establishing billing rates in a program to charge for emergency and non-emergency services. Does anyone need any additional clarification? Do we have a motion to approve ordinance number 805?
I will make that motion.
Okay. Bill, make a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? All right, everyone? All opposed? None. All right, we'll move on to item number 5. Discuss, consider, and act upon business associate agreement between the City of Howe Fire Department and Emergicon LLC. Regarding this item, Chief Danae, would you please provide clarification to the citizens and to the council.
So now we're gonna go the other foot. This is our EMS building that we are working on getting set up for our EMS and our ambulances coming on. Emergicon is a widely used, billing company that's used by numerous fire departments in Texas. This will work on EMS only. This is not fire. This is facility transfers, this is 911 ambulance services. This will only go into effect when the ambulance is going into effect. This has completely separate from the fire department stuff. So what this is that this is the billing company we are working on using for EMS and EMS only with this.
Does the council have any questions or discussion they'd like to have?
Is this like the billing service from the fire department where they are reliant on insurance, or are they going to bill individuals?
Well, this company here will bill you, and it will bill it all. That's just how this one works. If you do not do that, the way we have it set up, then it should not go to collections, but we will bill the insurance. If the insurance doesn't pay, you will receive a bill out of this, just like you would any EMS service in the state, anywhere like that. So that's how this one works.
I need all clarification on this. This one here is a business agreement. It's basically covering us and Emergicon on the HIPAA Act and the Health Information Act. It's a protection contract is what this is for.
And so to further clarify, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but the fire department is hoping to be able to move forward with their EMS services, and so this is like in preparation for
Yes,
that.
ma'am. This doesn't go into effect until we start running on day one. This is in preparation for us to start getting everything set up through our new computer software that we're working on. We're building these, that way when day one hits, we're ready to roll.
Anyone else have any questions on the council?
I think typically when we have agreements to vote on for the council, the other party has already signed. I know we've run into issues with that before, but I don't see a signature here from Emergicon.
Mr. Freeman?
Typically, we would, getting their signature is not going to be a problem. They just sent a form document. We fill in the blanks, get a signature, send it back to them. They'll sign it, send it right back.
We've had emails back and forth, and they are willing to do this. It has to go through the formal process, of course, with this. They're willing to do this. They have no issues doing it. They try to get at all EMS agencies to use this. Sherman, White Light, Anna, they all use this billing company for this.
Do you have any more questions?
No, just maybe a possible reservation while we're discussing with the council. Not that I distrust this company at all in any way, but I think this council particularly has been bit by approving agreements that were signed in the past. So we should think about that.
Okay. Any other council members have questions? Do we have a motion to approve the business associate agreement between the City of Howe Fire Department and Emergicon LLC? All right, Rodney, do we have a second? So if we have no second, then it just fails?
Now, second.
All, Joe's gonna second? All in favor? Okay. So Joe, Rodney, and Michael? All opposed? Billy?
I agree with Sarah. If it was signed by them first, I have no issue with it.
Okay. And then Sarah? Okay. Alright. So we will move on to item number 6. Discuss, consider, and act upon the addendum C fire emergency response billing between the City of Howe council like to discuss that?
Is this the same company?
This is the same company, this is the EMS building that, Chief Renee was talking about earlier.
But it's also not signed.
Sarah said, is it not signed as well?
Do you have a signed copy?
No, I have the same copy of that. It is the same way, looking back on it. And where the city's been bit before is on actual contracts that had money associated with them. These billing companies won't be paid unless they sign the contracts and send them back to us. So they had something to gain.
Any other questions from the council? All right. Do we have a motion to approve the addendum C fire emergency response billing between the City of Howe Fire Department and Emergicon LLC?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Joe. All in favor? Ronnie, Joe, and Michael. All opposed? Sarah, same. All right. Item number 7, discuss, consider, and act upon pre-development and professional services agreement with Malachi 310 Construction. Does anyone on the council, would they like to discuss that?
This is just like our services agreement we have with others, isn't it? Is anything different?
Yes, it's a standard procedure for when a developer comes to us. They're going to be asking for attorney involvement and engineering involvement, and this just says that when they're incurring time with the city attorney, the city engineer, and other city consultants, they reimburse or pay for that time.
I make a motion to approve that.
Okay, so Joe made a motion, Ronnie made a second. All in favor? Everyone? All opposed? None? Item number 8, discuss, consider, and act upon setting up an opioid fund account at Independent Financial. Jeff, would you please speak on that and maybe give us some clarification as to why we need one, what the funds will go for?
Okay, back a few months ago, we was contacted by a state agency that we needed to sign up for this opioid fund, that the state was suing the opioids, the makers of opioids, and we would get a piece of it if we just signed up. And we signed up, we got everybody that signed up. I think the county got a pretty good sized check. Ours is like a little over $2,000. But we have to have a place to put it, because evidently they're going to want to put more into it as these lawsuits continue. So we have to have a designated account to put this in, and that's why we need it.
Do you know what it is? What can we use those funds for?
It's such a small amount of money that I'm not real sure what we can use it for. It's to fight opioid abuse is what it's for. So with the funds that we have right now, pamphlets and a few other things we can use it for, but we may be able to join in with somebody else's fight. I'm not real sure on that.
Okay.
Is it limited to opioid awareness?
Yes. Just the fight of opioid awareness and the fight against it.
Do we have a motion to approve the opioid fund account at Independent Financial?
I will make that motion.
All right, Billy, do we have a second? I'll second. Sarah will second. All in favor? Joe, I'm sorry. Yes, okay, everyone, all in favor? All opposed? None? Thank you. All right, item number 9, discuss, consider, and act upon Debbie Nicholas' request, and her last name is spelled wrong. It's Nicholas. Let me present.
Okay, thank you. This is a letter that I sent to Jeff Stanley, the city manager of Howe, and a copy to the TML. And it's dated July 4th. I went to your office to request being put on the April agenda in early April. I spoke to you 2 times, once in person, once on the phone, about problems at our home at 300 Tiffany Court. You told me you would come and look at our yard because the pictures I showed you weren't good enough, and I agreed with that, for sure. You asked me what I wanted you to do. I told you I wanted the problems fixed. You stated you would come during the week of the council meeting and do some work. Nothing was done, but the council meeting for April was over. Next, I requested to Regina on April 26th to be put on the May agenda. This request was totally ignored. Just because you ignore me doesn't mean these problems go away. These were and still are the responsibility of the city of Howe to fix and maintain. After voicing my concern, you stated the city has no money for these repairs, even though the city of Howe is responsible for the upkeep within the city limits. You stated there is only funds enough to keep up repairs on the city streets. That is not my problem. You are not even living up to that. The condition of our town is deplorable, to say the least. We pay our taxes, as do all homeowners in Howe. Here is a list of the repairs I requested. There was a water leak in our front yard several years ago. After the leak was fixed, there was never a follow-up to check on the condition of our yard. Because of this, there are holes left in the yard that need to be filled in. The ground was somehow dug out under our sidewalk and is causing our walk to sink. It will eventually cave in. The curb in front of our house is a crumbled mess and needs to be fixed. I have a 93-year-old father and a 92-year-old mother-in-law that cannot visit because they can't get up on the sidewalk because of the danger this poses. The storm drain on the south side of our yard has huge holes all around and is caving in. It needs something more done to it than putting in large stones and covering them with sand. This attempt of yours was laughable, to say the least. In fact, you did laugh when I told you my husband was putting sand around the driveway and other places in our yard. You said it wouldn't do any good to do that because sand washes away. The best way to handle any of these concerns is to fix the concern before it gets worse. I don't have a solution on how to fix the items listed. You said you would contact the city engineer, but I wasn't advised by you as to this solution. I have been doing some research about your office and have learned that when a complaint is filed in writing to you, you have 10 business days to respond to the TML about what you did to fix the problem. I invite anyone from the TML to visit my home at any time they would like to see what you do as a representative for the citizens of Howe. And I have a question for you. Is there a city charter? Is there one?
Yes, there is. There is.
Okay, is it available for any citizen of Howe to read?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I asked him for a copy, or about it, and he stated that it had to be looked up and he'd have to go to different sources to find whatever he thought I was looking for. Can some copies be made this week or soon, so that we can look at this and see what's going on.
Or possibly you would like put it on the website?
Yes, something, because we really need to know what's going on. And who we go to complain. You know, I'm not asking for $1 million. All I want is my yard fixed. My dad has not been to my home since COVID because he can't get up on my sidewalk. This is a family event to me. My dad is 93 years old. I want him to come to my home. I'm not asking too much, I really am not. But I want my yard fixed. I want my sidewalk fixed. I want my home to be a home. It's gonna cost my property to
I'll tell you
go
what,
down.
this is not for to lodge complaints against city administrator. What we will do, if there's okay, is I will personally talk to the city manager in the next couple of days to discuss your issue. If he has your contact number,
Yes, sir, and
then I will see that you're contacted either by Mr. Stanley or by myself. Now, I'm not promising that your problem's gonna be solved this week or next week.
I understand that.
But I will tell you that you will be contacted.
Okay, I appreciate
for
that.
information. And you said you talked to TML.
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't talked to them yet. I have sent them information and I'm waiting to hear
All
from
right.
them.
As far as the charter, it's an old, like an 1864 or something like that. So there's gonna have to be some research done into the old records to find it. I don't know if it's been updated since the town was incorporated or not. But I can assure you that they will find it, and we'll get you a copy of it.
Okay.
I'm not giving you my personal cell phone number,
Oh,
because I don't want 3,000 people in this town calling me every time they have a water leak.
I understand that.
So all
But
communication will go through Mr. Stanley.
this has been going on since the beginning of April. And it's been bad
And I will
for
be
years.
with him in the next couple of days.
I appreciate
And
it.
I'm not telling you that I'll get a hold of you before the weekend. Because I'm retired and I don't keep up with
I
it every
am
week.
too. I am
It's
too.
very lucky that you had your parents in 92 and 93. I lost mine many years ago, so she shares that.
Oh, I do.
All right, so does that help you out?
Yes, sir, it
All right,
does.
thank you for your
Thanks, Joe, appreciate it.
I guess you don't have any objection to that.
No, sir, I don't. Not at all. Does any other council member need to comment or want to comment on anything? So, I guess we just do no motions. Is it right? No motion taken?
No motion.
Okay, no motion taken. All right, item number 10 is departmental reports. Let's start with our administration, please.
Utility billing, I'll go ahead and get these things out of the way. July numbers of accounts, 1,243 for a total of $205,016.12 billed out. Court brought in $20,787.32. In our office, there are three major developments that are active at this time. Noble Ridge Development, Ponderosa Point, and Saddleback, and a 10-acre park project. During the last several weeks, the city attorney engineer at some level, even the mayor, has had discussions with these developers and had discussions about these different projects. They're in different levels, but all of them are moving. And now we have a new one that we just did the PSA on. I was asked about the O'Connell sewer project that was done a couple weeks ago. seemed bigger than it was. And the reason for that is on the north end, we had the north end shut down for the collapsed sewer project or sewer line. And down on the south end of the column, the gas line guys was on that end, working on that side. So we had the entire road shut down for a couple of days. And that was between Highway 5 and Bean Street. We had it completely shut down for 2 full days. We had a contractor replacing that collapsed line because we didn't have the equipment to do it. The line was about 25 feet straight down into a hole. It really wasn't that much of a line that we replaced. We replaced between 60 and 70 foot. So that's all that we actually replaced. We looked into replacing from manhole to manhole, but the money and the time that it was going to take was just not doable. It was going to be a 10-day project, and the money was just too much to do. Cleanup started. That work was done on Thursday and Friday, the 6th and 7th. Cleanup started, I think, on Wednesday of the next week because there was some rain on Monday and Tuesday of that week. But after replacing the line, even though that it was just 60 or 70 foot long, it was 25, 30 foot down in the ground. It's going to take a long time to settle before we can replace that road. So when Mickey talked about it today, it'll probably be at least a month, maybe longer, before we even attempt to put asphalt back on that road. So the rest of what's going on down through there is all gas line stuff. They come back and repair pretty much as they go along, but they have to do the same thing that we're doing with this. They have to let some stuff settle before they refill some holes. On the north end, just right here, there's some big holes. And they're working on along this area right through here right now. So those guys will be working for quite a while, and once they get done with this side, then they'll flip to the other side, which is what the whole upgrade is for anyway, for gas lines to be able to get to the new development on the other side. So that's what is going on with this, with the company.
Does anyone have a question or comment that we can make?
So with the creation of the city's Facebook page, I know information is getting out there much faster and it has been greatly received. This might be more of a question for Mickey. When y'all start a project, y'all are releasing information about it and getting the word out. When y'all finish one, you'll have an after an action report or a debrief or something that could be also released. Hey, we did this, we're finished. I'm not saying we can John Madden play by play, but the work is going to start. It started. We're done with it now. Here's an update as to why I still have a 25-foot hole in my yard.
Yes, sir. We have kind of shifted to those kind of practices,
Okay.
especially on the larger scale projects and job sites.
Any other questions from the council? Okay, thank you, Jeff. Code enforcement?
Code enforcement report for June 2023. Following actions were taken. 14 courtesy letters for code violations were mailed. 22 door tags were placed for code violations. 2 verbal warnings were given for violations. 16 code violations and interactions were made and were corrected via phone call. 3 code violations or interactions in-person meetings were held to correct code violations. 3 permits were signed off and completed. There were 3 Freedom of Information requests submitted and completed for June. 1 code violation was transferred to Bureau Veritas. These actions totaled 66. The fence repair, as you guys can see on Cordera, has taken shape, and they have done more than I figured they would do. It's going to look really nice. I was informed the other day that they're going to run white nylon 6-foot fence from one end to the other with steel supports, and be opening up that back gate for entrance and exits, which will help with emergencies. Thank God. So.
Is that gonna be open to
General
community?
public, yes.
Okay, great.
Update on the lien that was discovered back in May. I spoke to the former code enforcement officer, Bert Allen, and he stated that this lien had actually been paid several years ago, but no one had any record of it or anything. So the title company has been notified of the error. Fogging for mosquitoes was completed without event. And I asked the citizens of Howe to please continue to keep your grass cut, your brush piles removed quickly, and patrol your yards often for anything that may accumulate water and create a breeding ground for mosquitoes. And please make sure that all outdoor pets have adequate shade, food, and water this time of year, especially with the numerous heat warnings and advisories that we have had, and I'm sure there'll be more before the year's over. Also, please note, if you decide to beat the heat this summer by erecting a pool, all in-ground pools, above-ground pools, spas, and hot tubs do require a permit for City Howe Ordinance 712. This does not apply to kiddie pools.
Any questions from the council? Thank you, Dan. Economic development,
Mayor, council. First of all, before I get started, I want to thank you guys for the approval of the 4 report. I don't think a lot of people in the room understand the impact that is right now. Our sales tax receipts for July, $49,521. Of that amount, $12,381 belongs to the Type B Corporation. The fiscal year, we're rounding out the fiscal year with a total $510,817 for the city. Of that, $127,704 for the Type B. That's an increase of 14.9% from this time last year. So we're on pace to add about another 100,000 or so in the remaining of this fiscal year. So that would be an overall increase of about 70,000. I had a lunch meeting with Joe Sullivan of Inspired Communities for a possible plan development in South Howe. The lack of sewer capacity is always a hot topic with any plan development. That's not trying to create their own. And if it ever gets to a point where it gets beyond that situation, we'll bring the city administrator into those conversations with the mayor. But this one is very low level. Talked with Brandon Harris on a possible land acquisition west of Dorchester. Since it's out of our ETJ, I referred him to Commissioner Whitmire and our fellow neighboring Dorchester Mayor David Smith. Had an opening discussions with a real estate gentleman from Prosper about a hospitality development target for Howe. Of course, you know that $36 billion that's being invested 4 miles to our north is gathering a lot of attention from commercial developers, and as you know, residential developers. It's very disheartening to have to tell them that we don't have the sewer capacity for your project, or we're very limited in that situation. So that's a difficult conversation to have. Project Orange has no new information. However, I did talk to the managing partner for that development today, and we're going to schedule a meeting with the mayor in about a month, and I feel like we're going to get serious on those talks again here by the end of the year on that. Project Blue still has eyes on a downtown expansion that's going to get kind of creative on that one.
Summit Gardens has a rental agreement totaling $7,785 so far in 2023. Thank you for your rental back there, by the way. We had one on Saturday, a wedding here. We've got one scheduled for July 23rd, July 29th, August 5th, August 6th, August 20th, August 25th, and August 26th. Chamber of Commerce will hold its 9th Howe Hump Day. That will be on August 2nd. It will not be here. Make note, it'll be at Independent Financial. They want to host it at their location. So we'll move for the first time here. We'll move it over there on August the 2nd. That's the first Wednesday of August. The Chamber has added 18 new members since January, and the growth has been attributed to that Howe Hump Day specifically. It's a great networking breakfast, and I would invite anybody in the room to show up to that. I want to thank the council, mayor, city administrator for the use of the Collins Memorial Funds. As y'all approved last month, the rebuild of the porch is $6,000. We were able to get that $648 over budget, so I was proud of that. And the porch out there is really nice. The chamber and the local businesses are in the process of upgrading the fence at Memorial Park. You've probably driven by and seen the posts. They're going to continue to work on that and should be finished by the end of the week. Chamber donated $3,250 to that $7,000 budget, and the rest of the money comes from local businesses that donated funds back in 2020. We've been holding that away for a while to make sure it didn't get spent. So mark down August 3rd, 6:30 for Bluebell Ice Cream Social. It'll be here, and it's hosted by Hit Exteriors Roofing. Anybody's invited, 6:30, so I'm gonna get you some Bluebell. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, have any questions or comments?
So I know that HCF needs a pretty big hit on social media.
I'm sorry?
I know that HCF DC took a pretty big hit on social media about the fence. Citizens did not spend any money towards that fence, correct?
That's correct. It was all donated by businesses and our Chamber of Commerce.
Thanks, sir. Municipal court. Who's speaking?
We are going
Here, okay. Police department, chief.
For the month of June, the police department answered 175 calls, generated 21 reports, made 2 felony arrests, 1 misdemeanor arrest, issued 27 citations, and responded to 13 crashes.
Council have any questions or comments? Thanks, sir. Public Works.
Mayor, council, good evening. Since the last meeting, Public Works Department has carried out 104 service orders for 97 and a half hours of work performed. Of those 97 and a half hours spent on those service orders, 64 hours were dedicated towards water, 20 hours towards sewer, 10 hours towards streets, and 3.5 hours towards miscellaneous tasks. First update, Jeff kind of discussed a little bit about, I'll go ahead and give my update on that as well, and then upon sewer. So on July 5th, Public Works responded to a choke sewer main on the 100 block of West O'Connell Street that transports domestic sewer flows from the east side of the city to the west side of the city. Attempts to clear the blockage with hydrojet were unsuccessful, and a contractor had to be brought in to make the needed repairs due to Public Works' inability to excavate a 30-foot deep main properly and safely. All state compliant lead and copper sampling and water quality parameter sampling has been completed with all correlating reports and documents properly submitted to TCEQ for compliance for the year of 2023. During the remainder of the summer months, residents will notice an increase in Public Works efforts to flush and or waste water from the distribution system. Although this flushing may appear wasteful or alarming to the normal eye, this flushing is common and a routine practice that is necessary to influence and increase the movement of water throughout the water system. And this allows to improve water quality and disinfect residuals as the increased temperatures in the summer of lakes tends to take a big hit on chlorine disinfectants during these months. Street side chipping of storm debris was a success to provide citizens with additional services to offload of the past damage citywide. In conjunction with the self-serve debris drop-off location on East Davis Street, Public Works will be working with code enforcement to address any unwanted secondary piles that may have developed after initial rounds, as well as I will be surveying here next week, kind of looking for possible oversight, small piles that may have been oversighted, things like that, that possibly Public Works in-house can just briefly clean up through Public Works Department.
On the Pioneer Valley, there's a house that has pretty much half a tree that came down. You pretty much had to cut immediately. It's been sitting at the street the entire time. I don't remember them coming down that side of town. So they got like three homes that has a pile still sitting out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can look into that. And
one's pretty big. I've told the others that they can try to get in touch with the city and take it to the root pile, but not more than it's about half a tree.
Yeah. Okay, I can investigate that, take a look at that, and see what kind of remediation or fixes.
Any other council members have anything?
I was sent a video from the fire hydrant at the ag barn. Is that one of the flushing sites that you mentioned?
Yes, sir. That is one of those far reach ones.
Any other comments or questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, we'll move into our notice of executive session. Executive session in accordance with the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. The City Council will recess into executive session pursuant of the following sections. Texas Government Code, Section 551.074, to hear or refer a complaint or charge against officers and employees of the Howe Police Department and the City of Howe Administration. Section 551.071, consultation with attorney on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter OMA. The time is 7:06.
Is that on the official agenda, because it's not on tonight?
Yeah, that last section for the attorney, Mr. Tidwell had asked me to add that.
It is in the notes at the end, but I wanted to go ahead, and there was an indication I might be called, so I wanted to go ahead and read it in at the beginning of the meeting.
There are certain procedures under the policy manual for the City of Howe that cover complaints against not only the police department, but also Public Works or any other one, where a complaint has to be made to the immediate supervisor and then go up the chain, that's the city administrator. And then if it's not taken care of there, then it can go to the council. And you've listed complaints against officers. Is this procedure been followed?
This is a follow-up, yes, to give the council an update.
Okay, that's not my question. My question is, there have been complaints against police officers.
Yes, sir.
And there are state laws that cover those complaints. And has that been done? Has it gone to the police chief and then to the city administrator?
Well,
it's a simple question there. Has it gone through that procedure?
well, it has not, because
Okay,
it
then
involves.
I don't think we can have an executive session and talk about employees if it's not gone through the official procedure that the city has established.
But it's hard for someone to investigate themselves.
Has it gone through the proper procedure listed in the city policy manual?
Mr.
We
Tim?
comply with state law. What policy manual are you referring, what part of the policy manual?
Policy manual.
It says that we send the police chief a complaint against the police
It goes through
chief.
the chain of command, and you know it does.
State law says it goes to the supervisor. She's the
Right,
supervisor.
it goes to the supervisor, so if you have charges levied against, it says police officers. And so it should go through the police chief of police first, before it goes to the city manager and then to the council. My question is, have those procedures been followed?
Yes, because I'm the executive officer.
No, that's not the question, Mayor. They have to go through the procedure. Procedure, if it's a complaint against an employee, it goes first to their supervisor, then if it's not rectified there, it goes to the city administrator.
But
Then it
it's-
goes to the council.
But it is difficult for the city administrator and the chief of police to investigate themselves. I would be the executive officer, so I would be following the chain of
All
command.
right. So the answer to my question is no, it has not.
I believe it has.
I don't believe it.
Mr. Tidwell, do you have a comment that you would like to make, since you're a city attorney?
No, ma'am.
So we will go into executive session.
the age older people. And growing. I had a girl from Florida that's me this weekend. She's never had cattle in the house. She's from Richmond. It's a new experience.
The city council will reconvene into regular session, and the time is 7:39 p.m. Item number 11, discuss, consider, and act on any items listed under closed or executive session as needed, and there is no further action to be taken. So if there is no further business to come before the council, this meeting is adjourned at 7:39 p.m. Thank you for coming.